closed account first, and then open up a new tab so that it already knows how to go to that. And that'll take you directly to the keyword tool and enter in questions and then see what people, how often people search those questions. Make it as short as possible. Best way to learn functions and those things. Okay. So what about start? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I didn't see whatever works. Oh, thank you. That's in my head. Maybe one of my kids. Hello.
Yeah, right.
So maybe. Yeah. I see that.
This is
How's it going? Good to see you.
Give me a couple of minutes and I'll start another. Okay. We're going to be broadcasting this. It's not on yet.
Oh, it's on. We're gonna need it right now.
broadcast aside, thank you very much for coming out. If you don't know where you're at, just in case, this is the Santa Clarita Internet Marketers Group. We're just under 800 members on Meetup.com, which is kind of crazy. But this is about the normal size of our group. So I don't know where everybody's signing up from. Because, thank goodness, actually, because then we'd have to find another room. But for 2016, we're probably going to stay with the same format all the way through and through. It's been working very well. People really do like it. I reap as much benefit facilitating it as those who come in that are brand new. So just a few, I guess, house cleaning or different things rules that Barnes & Noble's restricts us to here is one, it's a no-pitch group. That means you're not here, you're not going to be sold anything. Okay? You are here, people are here to go in and share. It's kind of like a more casual mastermind, I guess I like to call it, because we have usually 1/3 of the room is high-end level people who are experienced in internet marketing, 1/3 who are kind of getting started, getting their feet wet, understand the terminology, and we have 1/3 usually that are brand new, who have never done anything online and think, I've heard that you can make money online, why not try it? So if you're brand new and you are one of those new people, most of us all started there, hang in there. A lot of the terminology may fly over your head in the beginning, and it did for me. I did not start this group. When I first joined the group, there was only 6 of us. And another guy started it, and he had the same format. Ask any question, and that's what we're here for, is to answer. So the first thing that I like to say is, if you come and you have a question that you brought with you or that comes up throughout the night, please do not leave without asking it. There's such a wealth of information here, of knowledge, of people that can share with you, that I really want to make sure that you come here to get your question answered. And if you don't, you can always email me. I'll leave a bunch of cards that are up there, but I need to forewarn you that I'm absolutely horrible at replying to email. So if you don't get a response right away, I'm not ignoring you. It's just that I get about 350 plus emails a day. I mean, if I showed you my account, it has 14,000 unread emails. And that's because but I go through the ones to try to find the ones that, I might have missed it. So don't be afraid to email me a second or third time. And just say, hey, this is my second, or put down second email. Okay, because then I'll make sure that I see it and then I respond back. And I really apologize for that. I got to find a better email system. But being online, every website I build, and there's been over 50 websites that I put online, I always make an email address for that website. So it looks more professional. And even all the graveyard websites that have gone to the graveyard that are no longer, it's just calling them email addresses anyway. So I haven't gone around to cleaning a lot of that up. So I apologize in advance if you email me, you don't get a response. Email again a day or two later, just saying, hey, second chance to get in touch with you. I will get back to you. I don't ignore anybody purposely. That's never, the people who ask the early questions, I learn as much from, because then I know what people want to know. And then I look it up sometimes for you, and I get your answers for you. So that's the first thing I want to make sure that you understand. We won't sell you anything that we're here. It is a no-pitch group. We are not allowed to bring any outside food in here, but of course, Barnes & Noble encourages, please feel free to get something from the cafe and bring it in. You're welcome to drink as well as here. At the end of the evening, they just ask that we leave the room the way it was, or even cleaner than when we're done. So if there's any trash, please just throw it out on your way out. What else? We try to end by 8:30 as far as the main presentation, but most of us will stick around till 9:30 or so if you want to just talk and ask questions. If you don't want to feel as you want to open up too much to everybody else that's here. There is a website for the group, scvinternetmarketers.com. So the cards that I will put out will also say that. Oh, and so for those of you who do not know, but the Meetup.com, we have the SCV, the Santa Clarita Internet Marketers Meetup group on here as well. If you sign up for Meetup.com, it's completely free, and then you register for the Meetup group, you'll get the notifications, the reminders, and also the emails of what we'll be talking about, so you can decide whether or not it's something of interest for you. But also, in case for some reason we cannot meet, like if Barnes & Noble says that they need this room and they won't be open for us, that is the only way I communicate to the group. It's out through Meetup.com. So just be aware of that. If you're coming in out here, I usually will send it out through the group emails. So you need to sign up if you want the notifications from there. Does anybody have any questions before we begin? Okay. Good.
I don't know your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Chris Moore. So yes. By the way, that's Stephen Watanabe. He's here every meetup that we have as well. He's the one that actually live streams it on the website scvinternetmarketers.com. If you for some reason cannot make it out, he's live streams it on the website, so you can also just log in and watch it there. I don't know how well the audio works. We're trying to pick up an audio system that we can use a lapel mic for, but from what I've heard, people say it's okay. They can actually do it that way. Does anybody have any other questions? Yes.
Are they then archived so that we can replace them?
Yes. So after we're done, it's on the website as well. It just moves down the posts as it goes down.
You're also on YouTube.
I'm sorry?
You're also on YouTube.
Yes. So then it's actually our YouTube capturing that goes in there. So yeah, it's on both of there. So thank you very much. Yeah, you can also get it on YouTube if you need to. So if anybody has specific topics they would like to know about throughout the year, please let me know, and I'll try to find a speaker on it that can either share on it, or if I know enough about it and I can get a couple of us that you know that can combine our knowledge to get something up, I'd love to go ahead and do that as well. Any ideas that you have. Kirk's specific talent or gift or experience and knowledge base that he'll be speaking about today is something that's of interest to a growing number of people. He sells a lot of product not only on Amazon, but also on other platforms as well, and he has a lot of experience in using other platforms. So as he puts out his information today, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask him, because Kirk has always been very open and gracious of sharing the information that he has out there. And I'm sorry, I don't know how to spell your name, so I was kind of afraid of it. Did I spell it right? T-H?
That's fine.
No,
There's no H, but that's
Wait,
fine.
I'm sorry.
I don't get something.
Okay. But his wife Teresa also is very knowledgeable. I mean, as a partner that they do it, it's a family business actually. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what they have been able to put together. And like I said, the knowledge that he shares is very valuable for anybody if you have any questions on how to sell physical product. Now, for those of you who might be interested in actually selling informational products in the future, that is definitely something you will always go into. If you have brick and mortar building style businesses and you just want to know internet marketing, how to get your businesses exposed, if you do services as a profession, that is all stuff that we do cover in this group. Just let me know that you want to know about these things, and we can actually get some information out there for you, because everything kind of ties in together. You know, it's all on the internet, so we can be very helpful to each other. So without taking too much of Kirk's time, I'd like to introduce him coming up here, and I'll bring up his PowerPoint.
They said the audio is good, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kirk Krager. Been doing internet retail for about 17 years now. Way back in the day, I started before they had all the fancy machines and coding devices to make it easy for you. I had to do it by hand. Now it's quite easy to be online, and I've been on Amazon for about 12 years, and we've sold on just about every major platform out there, from eBay, Rakuten, Buy.com, Amazon UK, a lot of different websites. We have our own websites, different platforms, Shopify, on Magento, you name it, we've probably done it. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about private label and what private label is. Because everybody know what private label is?
Not everybody.
Pretty much, you don't. I'll take this nice product.
Oh wait, let's not show that one.
Okay. I got samples. Okay. I got lots of samples. Private label is finding the supplier that's going to make something for you. This is a weight loss pill. And finding that supplier that will make it and put your label on it. And that's all it is. And here, this is one of our brands that we have right here. We have the trademark of Whole Life with the two-wheel man in it. And so we went out and did a whole bunch of different supplements like this. And found a company, they did everything. We could have used their label, but we didn't. We used our own. It just was easier, and I wanted that. We have several different products, so I wanted to brand them all and make them look similar. So, and I don't seem to be following my outline. So, why would you want a product label? It's because you want to brand your product. You want somebody to know that this is yours. Also, when you sell on Amazon, if you have your own brand, your own trademark, you get you pretty much get an exclusive with that. Now, there's caveats with that, and I can explain that later, but generally, you get your own brand. And you get to do it your way. You know, if you want to put green and pink on it, you can do green and pink. It's what you want as your brand. The branding is the most important reason to do it. What you do is you build customer loyalty with it. You make one brand, and people recognize it. If, you know, of course, if they buy it and if you're successful. And with that, you're able to, with customer loyalty, it makes it a lot easier to launch new products, because all of a sudden they see one thing, and then you can email them and let them know that you're launching a new product. More than likely, they'll try it. Only 1 minute. Okay. It also gives the opportunity to trademark something. Trademarking is very important. With trademarking, you get to make your own label. You can do whatever you want once you get a trademark. One of the important things to do about trademarking is do your research. With this particular product, we went to the trademark office. We got did all the searches and everything. There are different categories that you can put a trademark in for. One would be for clothing, for supplements, for pharmaceuticals, and they're called international codes. And if you don't get that, or if somebody is in one particular international code, you may apply for a trademark that has the same name and the same look, as long as it's in a different one. And you may be granted it for a well-known name brand like Pepsi-Cola, Coke, Target, or something really big. And so that's one of the things that you really have to be careful of when you select a brand, that it's not being used by somebody else. Because you'll end up spending time, money, and effort putting on the label, and all of a sudden you find out that you don't have the right to sell it. And that's what happened with this. Our trademark attorney, they went out, they did the search, and there was a company that had a similar name selling supplements, but they weren't. Their application was in abandoned. Well, the trademark laws are kind of funny. Even if you abandon something, you can come back later and claim that it's yours. And so after we did all the work, and put our label on and everything, they came back and said, "Oh, no, we're going to use it." And the trademark people said that we couldn't do it. So that's why I have a whole bunch of these. Yes.
What's it cost to trademark something?
Depends how you do it. We have an attorney that did it, and he was a friend, so we got a decent price, and it was about $100. That's real basic. And he gives pretty good rate. I'd probably say about $2,500 is a decent price for a trademark if you use an attorney. Now, I've known lots of people that have done it themselves, and then it's just the fees, and I think the fees would be about $1,000.
I'm a trademark attorney, so let me address the question. Between 15 and 2,500 is roughly the price range, depending on the nature of the mark. You want to expect if you're using a lawyer, or if you're paying a lawyer to fix it after you do it wrong when you do it yourself, which happens about half the time. At least, well, I shouldn't say half the time people come to me with a trademark situation because they did it wrong. But you can go on, I mean, the legal Zooms and folks like that can do it for less than that, of course, but I think you get what you pay for it. And mostly it's lack of advice. And if you want to do it yourself on the trademark office website, allowing per class per mark. So if you have a logo and a name, multiple logos, that's multiple marks. But it's $300. It's about $300 per mark just in filing fees to them.
Okay. That's, I guess pretty right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to do your research first, and you know it would have saved us a little bit of money if we had gone through the process and got our trademark approved, and then put on did this. Another reason that, you know, on Amazon, if you have your own trademark, so let's say you don't have a trademark and you put up a product, you spend a lot of time putting up your images, your descriptions and everything, and you get a product. Unless you're in jewelry, anybody in the world can start selling that same product under that same, what they call ACE. And so, and you don't have any control. Let's say you put something up, the next day you have 20, 30 people selling the same exact thing that you're selling. If you private label something, you get your own name, you get your own trademark, they can't do that. And that deters people from hijacking your account. When they do hijack your account, let's say I'm selling it for $20 and I'm selling 10 a day. Somebody else comes in, they drop it down to $10 and sell 100 a day. All of a sudden, Amazon will give them the right to go in and change the wording of the listing and everything. So you become at their mercy. If you do it yourself and you go with Amazon's brand, you can prevent people from doing that. So having your own private label is very important on Amazon. Now, the caveat is, you know, if I sell this and somebody buys it and wants to relist it on Amazon at a different price, they can do that. Amazon will allow that. So you just can't eliminate anybody else from selling this product because they may have got it as a gift and, you know, they don't want it for any reason.
Okay. Question real quick.
Okay.
From online. Gordon, it's more for you. They're wanting to know if a trademark is more or less the same price-wise. The copyright is more or less the same as a trademark.
Copyright is much less expensive, much easier to do for itself. And patent is at the other end of the extreme. If you have an invention that's novel and unique, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to register a patent.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. So in a nutshell, what private labeling is finding a product, putting your label on it. It doesn't have to be this. It can be anything. We have friends that import tea tree from Australia. And so I found out where I can find little bottles. I have unfortunately, because I've been in the business for a while, I have a really fancy label making machine. And I make up labels, and this is our private label for tea tree. And then along with that is possibilities. You're just not limited to anything. We found a supplier up in the San Francisco area that sells essential oils and perfume oils. And so we went up there and we bought about 21 different scents. Brought it back. We decanted it ourselves in bottles. We put a different brand on it. This is my wife Teresa's website. It's different than the other things that we did. So we're private labeling it, trying to get into the marketplace so that we can capture it and build a name for ourselves with this.
Now, do you have to ask permission when you buy somebody's product, pick up their labels and put on their own?
Well,
Or did you ask them about it?
Okay. One, I didn't take off their labels. I mean, I can't go into a store and, or buy a Canon camera, scratch off the label and put Kurt's camera. I just can't do that. That's yeah. So if a product already has a brand on it, you can't do that. What you do is you go to a manufacturer, to a distributor, and a lot of products, they come already generic branded, so that the box or whatever it comes in, it doesn't have anything on it. So you slip that into another box, or you put a label on it, or you somehow make it your own. China is extremely good at this. There's lots of resources where you get online and you see a product, you contact them, you talk to them, and say, can you private label this? And they say, 9 times out of 10, they'll say, absolutely. What do you want to put on it? And then it's kind of easy and downhill from there, because what you do, you tell them what kind of, you give them your graphics, and if you don't have graphics, oftentimes they will assist you and have their own graphic department. You just give them a general idea. It's a real good idea to spell check and make sure everything is correct, because not everybody is a English speaker over there, and they may miss things. I before E and all that good stuff, and that's just a good idea to really check. So to answer your question completely, it's just not a matter of taking something and putting your label on it. You got to find the right product that is private labelable. It's like cosmetics. There's any number of pharmaceutical companies out there that you can walk into them and say, I want a formula for pet shampoo that has this ingredient. Do you have a formula? They say, yeah. Okay. What's your minimum? Let's say 1,000, 5,000. Some of them do a smaller amount, and they'll work with you on getting your label on it. Or you design your own label, go to a printer, and have a label made and slap it on yourself. I believe that's what you did with your pet product.
There's a label company that was right next door to that.
Yeah.
Very convenient.
Funny how that works.
Once you've got the product, though, how do you drive traffic? How do you establish branding and get the traffic?
Well, where are you going to sell?
If you sell on, if you're selling on Amazon or eBay, you're hoping that
People will just find it by your
yeah,
chance. Well, there's many.
it's not likely, but if you have your own site,
There's many different ways to drive traffic on Amazon and even on eBay. And Chris knows a number of them. We should talk to him about that, and I'm sure that you can address that in other classes.
Oh, absolutely.
But once you got to do some work. It's just not, boy, I put this up there and all of a sudden it's going to sell. I'm going to make $1 million. No.
yeah.
There's a lot of work involved in getting a product online working. You got to make sure that your copy's right, your pictures are right. I won't say it's not easy, but there's a lot of work to do to make sure that you get it right and to drive the traffic. Once you start driving traffic, there's many different ways to do it. AdWords, a lot of stuff that Chris talks about.
Well, do you have something online currently?
I've been an e-commerce developer for 10 years. I develop large e-commerce sites for other businesses. I do have my own site, so I have no issue with technical, but marketing, I will just not, that's not my thing.
Yeah, when you develop for somebody else, how do they typically ask you to get traffic? Or
Well, they usually got a team of marketing folks. They're going out. They're, then you've got, if it's a huge high traffic site, you've got your regular usual suspect pixels, the commission junction or whatever the latest is. Those affiliate marketing.
Yeah. So you're familiar with actually a lot of different ways. It's just the actual, I guess, deep end strategies of doing them. Each of those strategies, it pretty much takes a whole night to kind of go over the fundamentals of each. But yeah, you can either pay for traffic, or you can actually do some of the technical side of understanding how the search engines work and manipulating your sites to do a little more on that, which, like I said, takes a whole strategy, which we will cover throughout the year. I mean, if there are any specifics people want to talk about on those type of things, we'll definitely cover those. On other nights. Unfortunately, it does take a lot of time to explain the whole thing on that. But for tonight's subject matter, we'll eat up the rest of the presentation on that one. So we'll definitely be able to cover that on another night.
Yes. So regarding that, what she's talking about, so we all know you can do Facebook ads, pay-per-click. Now you can do Instagram ads, you can do all that stuff. So
Yes.
what percentage of your gross revenue would you say you spend on marketing on this? You know, like where's the, you know what I mean? Like,
It's actually pretty small because we've been on Amazon so long, and that's where Amazon is the biggest marketplace out there. I do pay-per-clicks for other websites. I'd say, mine is pretty low, probably at 10%.
I'm wondering, if you're private labeling somebody else's product, do you assume the liability and warranty for that product, or do they share on that?
It depends a lot on where you got it and what it is. When you private label, one thing, if it goes in your mouth or on your body, you shouldn't have anything from China. It should only be U.S. products. Then you have somebody that's responsible. It's like these supplements. It's bottled for us under somebody else's FDA and everything's licensed. So if something comes back, somebody got sick because of it, they come to me and then we go to them. So the attorney can probably answer a lot better questions than I, because there's so many variables that are involved. But in a nutshell, that's what happens. A light bulb that breaks, as soon as they plug it in, what are you going to do? You got it from China, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
If it burns down the house, then you got a real problem.
When you're private labeling, let's say somebody's manufacturing something, you say, I want those, put it under my name. You think you can negotiate for a better price since they're not doing the marketing on the product, or they're not doing the distribution?
No.
No, not going to happen.
Typically, no. Because if they're doing private label, it's not their first rodeo. And you're not the first bull rider that comes in and try to.
In my case, they usually have.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm talking about people that or companies that typically do private label or make products that are private labelable. They'll tell you what the price is. You can always negotiate, but if it's if they're doing vitamins for you, the negotiation point is on volume. You're going to buy 100 bottles, okay, it's this price. You're going to buy 10,000 bottles, okay, then you get a better deal. But you say, well, typically no. If you have something that is unique and specific in a targeted market, then you might be able to. I haven't been in that case.
A lot of the manufacturers what happens is that they will make things specific for you if they don't have it in the catalog. Like you have an extra, you want to have an extra ingredient of vitamins, an extra thing, they will develop that for you, that they will cost you the development of the product, but then you're gonna have to buy volume or they want of it. For the application for them to manufacture the specific product, because that's not something that they are going to go on next show and sell it to somebody else because you want the specific. So there's a lot of variables. I mean, there's everything is finished. Okay.
Yeah, that's-
What is your markup? Are you telling?
no. It depends on the product. I'm looking at a product right now. I'm located in China, and I can buy it for 50 cents a piece. I've got to buy volume. And in a name brand store, they sell them for $20.
20.
20. Now, I got to get it from there to here. I got to put it in a package. I got to do the label. I got to do a lot of work to get it to that point. I mean, it's like going in the store. You can buy it, one of these books for maybe $1, but they sell it for $15. Why? Because they get older, because they feel everything else. So it depends on the product. Some things I don't like to touch anything that I can't do at least 3 times, especially if I'm having labor.
Is that what we have a product that someone else wants to purchase privately, with their
You're the manufacturer.
Yeah, is that something, should we be thinking of their cost or?
Well, that's always a consideration. I mean, you manufacture something and you're selling it for $5, and everybody is retailing it in the market for $7.50. You're not going to sell it for the money. And so, telling your potential retail vendors that they need to sell for $15 or $10 may be completely unrealistic. So, a lot of the things in what your product is, how competitive you are as a manufacturer. Because if you're not competitive, you're not going to sell it. And your vendors that you sell it to, they're going to be looking down the road at all the inventory they have on the shelf because they can't sell it. It's too expensive. So that's kind of the short answer. Okay? So everybody wants to know where you can find privately. They're all over the place. I mean, we moved up from San Diego up to Santa Clarita about 8-9 years ago. And we came to LA on a regular basis because we buy a lot of stuff in LA. But once we came up here and started living up here, there were so many more opportunities on private label, on different products. It's incredible. There's 8 major business parks here in Santa Clarita. In these business parks, industrial parks, there's lots of manufacturers. A lot of these manufacturers, they're looking for outlets. They're looking for people to buy their products. You can go to the Chamber of Commerce, be a member there, find out who's doing what, find out if they private label. Go to networking, find out, who the manufacturers are, and you can do that. Outside of that, you can start other trade shows. Trade shows are a fantastic way to find new vendors. We do it all the time. There's a LA Gift Show. It's coming up at the end of this month. It's down at the convention center. It's not as big or as good as it used to be, but you can still find some decent products and decent things. A lot of people from overseas, they have their cousin or whatever here in LA because LA is a big international marketplace, and you can buy close to a manufacturer. The ASD, which is a huge convention in Las Vegas. It's at the end of March this year. I don't know what it stands for. It's just a big convention center. If you've ever been into the convention center in Las Vegas, it takes up the whole thing. All levels, everything. They actually have a section that's probably 150, 200,000 square feet, international. vendors. And these are international vendors that have been sponsored and approved by their countries. China's there, India, Pakistan, Vietnam, and they all have little booths and they all sell different products. And so they're strike a deal.
Do you mind asking, are you sourcing any products from other than China, like Pakistan, India?
We've got stuff from Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia.
Any difference in sourcing?
Well, when you source them, you always got to be careful. You got to know, who you're dealing with, build a rapport. That's very important. You just don't, here's my money, give me my stuff, because you don't know what you're going to get. And that, that's even true today with China. China's a lot better than it used to be. It used to be, they did the bait and switch, they'd send you a nice sample, and high quality and everything. Man, this is great. I'll take 500, 1,000, and A, it may not show up, or B, it show up and it's a bunch of rocks. That has happened. So, but it's a lot better now, and there's a lot of fire protection out there. You go with a company like Alibaba or HKTVC. Those are marketplaces that feature manufacturers. You log in, you get an account, it's a free account, and you can start searching for manufacturers. You want to find somebody that does baby bottles. You can find hundreds of them doing baby bottles, and you can search for different countries. Not limited to just China. You can search Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, India, Malaysia, United States, all over the world. So if you're looking for a specific product, you can't find it here in the United States, or you want to find something that you're going to buy in volume somewhere else, those are good places. Find the distributors, the manufacturers here locally. That's also a source. So many things you can get and do here in the United States. You don't have to go outside the United States. We find products all the time that are manufactured here in the United States, and there's actually a resurgence in Made in America. You find products that are made in America, you put it on your brand, you put it on your website, even on Amazon, you claim that it's made in America. People from outside the United States love that. I went to a conference a few months ago. It's put on by the U.S. government. It's for the Pacific Rim economy. All the Pacific Rim countries that have a U.S. embassy. Inside the embassy, they have a person that works helping get American products into that country. So I go to the guy in Mexico, I say, I want to get this into Mexico. He goes out and finds not the manufacturer, but the retail place for it. And they're all, every one of them I talk to, say they want stuff that's made in America, not China, not Korea. So if you have a U.S. product, you're less easier to sell your products abroad. You don't have to go to the embassy and sell it, on your website. You can, talk to Chris and he'll figure out how to get you AdWords in Mexico or even in China. Middle East, you name it, you can do it. And you feature a made in America product, you figured out how to do the shipping at a reasonable cost, you're in.
When you go to these shows like ASD, if you have a product in mind that's not exactly what they have, are these manufacturers or maybe willing to modify it to make their own private line that you can make?
Absolutely. So, good point. Go to one of these places and say you want a cell phone case, and you want it pink with red stripes and a picture of a turkey, whatever reason. You want something unique. Well, if you buy, their standard case, that they've designed and everything, you can probably get by with, maybe a minimum order of, 1,000. But if you want it, special like I described, they're going to have to manufacture do it. It's going to be worth their while. So say your minimum is 10,000. And so, yes, you have to shop around and figure out, what your parameters are. Can I get this in blue, or do I really want, 17 and a half when they manufactured 17? So, they will work with you, but, like everything, it costs money to retool. So, magic. And that's not for magicians. The magic show it's bigger than the ASD. Yes, it's bigger than the ASD, and what it is, it's an apparel show. They sell shoes, clothing, accessories, jewelry, a lot of different things. And it's got a little bit broader than just apparel, and that's a real fun show to go to. That's in March.
Where is that?
March. It's in Las Vegas. That's in Las Vegas. It's a great show. Registration's free. Like the ASD and the LA Gift Show. Just have to prove that you're a business. Show them your business card, and sometimes they ask for an EIN, but not all the time. They make the more high class show you go to, like a JCK, which is a fine jewelry. They want to see receipts, that you're in the industry. They want to see receipts that you're actually going and you are a business selling fine jewelry. They don't want any Yahoo coming in and looking at all the pretty stones. So, in Chicago in November, there's an actual show called the Private Label Show. And they have about 3,000 different booths of manufacturers all across the United States, China, that show up, and where's the place? Chicago. This Private Label Show, Chicago. Yes.
What if we want something like, these are all very large, broad, worldwide products. What if we wanted something like stores, some sort of locally grown olive oil? What sort of manufacturer of that oil farmer or something? What would be acceptable to try to get that in bulk? What sort of cost would be?
Well, okay, I can address. Let's use the example of olive oil. Typically, the smaller farms, they're going to be selling their own stuff retail, right? And so they're not real keen on selling people, which food product is going to be roughly half. They rarely make more than double on the food product. But they're not going to be too reticent to sell it to you at half price unless you're buying big volume. And if they're a small farm, they're not going to really jump into that. So they may, instead of, let's say they sell it for $20 and, you think you should get it for $10, half, they may say $12, $14. You go to a bigger place, and you got to look at more legal. So when you start negotiating on, what your volume is going to be.
So just expect to negotiate, start with half.
Yeah. Start from there and then go down. Yeah, because you're going to tell them how great you are, how you're going to sell the stuffings out of it, how you're going to just move their product, and they're going to have to step up their game. And you're also going to have to talk to them about how they go to private label. Are they just going to give you you can reduce your cost by them giving you bulk. Okay, instead of putting it in the 750 milliliter bottles, they're going to give you a 55-gallon drum, and then you have to decant it and put your own label on, which is more cost for you. Then they might, your cost might get down more. So a lot of variables in how you do that.
Yeah, but also in that case, when you're talking about food, you need to be very careful because it's not something that if you don't have a CCTV that you can decant the oils and that is approved of PA.
You can't do it at home.
That is not recommended.
That's it. Some things are in that kitchen area.
Yeah, that's just.
It may be cheaper to have them do it, or, you know, there's other ways to do it. You can hire a kitchen. There's lots of places in LA where you can hire a kitchen to go in. They've already been approved by the health department, and they have all the stuff. You just gotta make sure that you got a, you know, health certificate, you yourself, because you're gonna be working on it, and follow all the rules and regulations, and make it inspected, do it.
Well, then how are the people doing the like oils and things, bath salts on heated? Those are all covered in California.
That, I don't touch that, that market. Yeah. Yeah. So, I can't answer you. Okay. Las Vegas, they have trade shows at least every day. All you have to do, you know, do a search on Google, you know, for trade shows in Las Vegas, you know, see what's coming up. There might be something that strikes your interest. You know, I cruise it every now and then, and there'll be something that's really unique that that we decide to go to. We went to for all the guys, we went to a lingerie show. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, even that you can private label. You can create your own brand of clothing. So, it was research. Okay, so how do you do it? How do you get out and start private label? You know, the biggest thing is just get out and do it. You know, you gotta get out and experiment. You gotta do it. Even if it's wrong, you're gonna learn from your experience. That's the biggest thing you gotta do. Instead of sitting on your butt and thinking, oh, I think I want to do this or that, and I don't know. You know, start doing research, get out and do it. That's the biggest advice I can give you on private label. It's not that hard. We have all kinds of private label. I mean, we sell a lot of body jewelry, and so with my friends from Australia, we came up with a couple of different products for body jewelry, for piercings. You know, we have a stretching balm and another aftercare product. And so, you know, we even got it where it's marketable in the stores. So we don't have to depend upon it solely being on the internet. There's lots of, you know, avenues where this can be in a piercing shop, hat studio. We've sold, you know, tons and tons of this stuff to those types of environments. So it's, you know, the opportunities are out there. You know, all you have to do is come up with the idea, do your research, and, you know, just do it. What else? I think I covered everything. You know, I talked about, you know, that point right there with the quantity. If you're going to private label, you're going to get something from China. They're typically going to want, you know, quantity. A number of years ago, when we were buying some watches, they wouldn't even talk to us unless we were buying 10,000 pieces of a single style. Which, yeah. So, but China has changed. Now, you know, that same vendor, I could probably get them down to 100 pieces. But here locally in Los Angeles, I could get those same watches, you know, for maybe a few pennies more, or, you know, 50 cents more, and I can, you know, I can get by with maybe buying 5 of them. Tariffs are dependent upon what you're buying. Yes. And typically, you know, you can figure about 10% for just normal products. Shipping, Yeah, that's an issue. That's, another reason why, it's also good to buy American. Or, maybe you find the brother-in-law that has, from China, that, has an in with the factory, and he has a shop here in the United States, and he's selling it for a little bit more. But you don't have to buy as much. You don't have to worry about the transportation. You don't have to worry about it being stuck in customs for 3 weeks, or the paperwork being lost, or any number of problems. So we just got a shipment from China, and it came quicker than if they sent it from New York. Yeah, through customs. What we ordered, it wasn't real heavy. I think there's 3 packages of 15 kilos apiece, and they sent it express. And it got to us in 4 days. It came from New York, and that's through customs and everything. There was a 1.5 day delay in customs on our stuff. They still got there that quick.
Question: do you have like some sort of warehouse where, like, when you order stuff, you try to like go to like your address, or you have to go somewhere?
Well, it depends how you have it sent. If you have like the stuff we get, we typically buy lower weight stuff, so we have air expressed over, and then it comes right to us, and we deal with it. If you have something coming by cargo, then that's a whole, by boat, that's a whole different set of issues, because it has to, get offloaded by the boat, from the boat, go through customs, and typically you just can't walk into, customs after it clears and say, can I get my package? It has to get delivered to you. And so you have to arrange transportation from there. But typically you're talking about, half container or a quarter container, or something where you actually need a truck or some professionals to do it. And in that case, yes, it can go everywhere.
So in that case, hypothetically, in that case, there's people you can hire to do that, or how would that work?
Well, you're going to work with the customs bureau. They'll have all that, those people, lined up and say, when it gets here, I need to run to this location. How are we going to do it? They say, we got a guy in LA. He's got a truck. He'll get it.
So the customs broker, I'm sorry, the customs broker is in the country of origin or here?
It could be either one.
I recently read an article. They were comparing a couple of these brokers, I guess you would call them. They will receive your package, whatever, from overseas, and they will actually either, once it, get it from the docks, whatever. There's one in San Diego, there's one in Long Beach, whatever, and they will even open it for you, take pictures, or send it on to Amazon for you.
Yeah, they'll do.
Have you worked with any of those?
I haven't worked with them, but I talked to them. I just don't have a need for that. Typically, when I get stuff in from China, I want to check it myself. I want to, we usually put things in bundles, or we put it in our own packaging. So, we're hands-on. We take care of it. That way I can see if there's a defect before it goes up. But those are, I know which companies you're talking about, FBA something.
Yeah, FBA.
And they're pretty good. A lot of people use them. And they'll even kit for you. So you have your packaging made here in the United States. You want to put it in a little box or something. You get it delivered there. You want to put an insert in, and you want them to put the FBA FMSQ on the box for you. They'll do all that for you. And so, almost. Well, sort of. It's more of a kitting and what's it called? Kitting. Kitting is when when they put things together.
KITT.
Yeah.
What is the normal turnaround time from the time that the product hits your door before, that you would say is your goal to always get up on Amazon? By how long would you take?
Well, it depends on how busy I am doing things. And where I am in the process. For example, the stuff that we got in the other day, We went through it, we got it all boxed up and ready to go. But I'm a little behind in some of the other stuff because of the holidays and everything else. And they got here quicker. They projected out a couple more weeks to manufacture this stuff, and so it got here a little bit quicker. But typically, I want to have it ready to go as soon as I get it. I'll go ahead and have I'll create my listing ahead of time before the product even gets here. I won't have my images or anything because I'll take my own pictures and get them ready, but I'll have the listings already to go. As soon as it gets here, I photograph, I put all that up, label it, send it off and make it in. So that's ideal. But when other things get in the way, or if I'm missing a piece of, my boxes aren't coming in for another 2 weeks, or a plastic container or something. So it's all scheduling, and if you can get it all done ahead of time.
I had I'm real new at this and just checking things out.
Okay.
You mentioned a warehouse, but something like this, could this be done out of your house, or the zoning requirements, or, depending, you get like a box container or something like this,
Yeah,
that's kind of hard to do.
HOAs won't allow you to leave the container out in the yard. But, if you're just doing like a pallet, you can bring it in your garage, there's no restriction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just, as far as I know, there may be different HOAs that you can.
Right.
I don't think you could probably do that. West Branch.
I don't live in an HOA anyway, so.
You mentioned earlier that you go to the embassy to try and find distributors for your products.
Yes.
Which I think is brilliant. Would it work the other way? I've been trying to source a product in Pakistan and I can't find these people.
You can't find the distributor or the manufacturer? Yes.
Do you think I might be able to go to their embassy and drop in and go, hey, can you help me with this? And
They won't get this sluggish, not really.
Well, they will also help you the other way.
But I'm thinking just that what you can do is just reach to the Pakistani consulate over here or the embassy and tell them, hey, I'm not about the Pakistan. They should be able to find you.
The primary,
never occurred to me to think,
the primary goal of the employees in the embassy is to find outlets for U.S. products. Every one of them I met they were locals. They weren't U.S. citizens necessarily. There are people that they hired in that country that know, the language, the customs, everything. Some of the people, they were U.S. citizens, but they typically lived there for a long time, or they have a background in that country. And they were all real helpful. I talked to 5 or 6 different ones from different places around the world, and they're all willing to do whatever it took. So,
try.
Yeah, all they can do is say no.
So you sell on Amazon, but you also have your own websites you sell on too?
Yes.
A dozen or so, right? So what percentage of your sales from Amazon sales versus your own website sales would you say roughly?
Oh, Amazon's big. And so.
I'm sure it's changed over the years since you've been in business 12 years, right?
It goes like this, sometimes.
50-50 or?
No, it's probably more like 70%.
70% Amazon?
Yeah.
So if you were to knowing what you know now, that you had nothing, you were starting out from scratch, like a lot of us, what would you do differently? Like, would you still sell on your websites, or would you just focus just on FBA Amazon? Private label.
Well, if I was just starting out, no. If I was just starting out, you got to go where the money is. Who was it? Which one of those bank robbers? Huh?
I think it was Bugsy.
No, it wasn't Bugsy. It was one of the other gangsters from the 30s. It's what do you rob banks? Well, that's where the money is. You go to the bank or Amazon. That's where they get the largest percent of people purchasing there. I think the numbers are 10% of all U.S. or 14% of all U.S. sales online are through Amazon. So you look at big stores like Barnes and Nobles and Sears and Rakuten and all that, the eBay, and for one place to have 14%, that's pretty big. So I would focus on Amazon, try to do the FBA, and then when you get to your footing and you have disposable income, then you go to other marketplaces, or you can do it simultaneously. It depends on what your product is. If you have, a private label that is just hot as a pistol, and you can get out into a marketplace outside, into a brick and mortar, by all means, you do that right away. Don't say I'm just an internet guy. Opportunities everywhere. Lots of people have green money.
Does it depend on your product and what your skill level is? What I've been seeing, because some people that are handcrafters, Etsy and Pinterest are the platforms that they get the most gain and they do very, very well in, or just even Facebook ads on their own little website. But technical skill also plays into a lot of factors of that. If you don't know how to build a website, there's going to be a lot to get momentum on and building that part up and a lot of expense. Whereas Amazon, you have already a platform that will sell it for you. You can just put it up there. There's a lot of people who sell on Amazon who don't have their own websites. They actually sell other people's products. I mean, they go to retail arbitrageurs, they go to like Targets and buy 90% off markdown items and throw it up on Amazon and they sell it for full retail. So it depends on what you're comfortable with and what you're willing to learn and put the effort into. Is going to be a big factor. And of course, what your product is. There's a lot of health products that never hit the major Amazons or big stores, and they just find a way to just gain momentum by being on podcasts and promoting their products that way. And it's only sold exclusively on their website, and they make millions based on their reputation or their ability to market. So there's a lot to come into play with that.
Okay, I pretty much covered that already. Okay, bottom line, what I outlined is just the basic concept of what private label is. I mean, there's a lot of different things to know about it. But if you want to do it, the best way to learn about it is get out and do it. You got to do it yourself, or find somebody to help you do it. I think I'm done.
Kirk, thank you very much. We appreciate it. So we have about a half an hour. If anybody has any more questions while Kirk is here, by all means, about private labeling and some of his processes, please ask.
Oh, you're not done. Okay. Well, I'll take questions.
I know you have like thousands of products, hundreds of products that you sell, and so obviously you have different private labels for different categories. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you have like all different categories.
We probably sold in every different category in Amazon except automotive.
Okay, and so do you have like different accounts for all those categories?
No, you don't need different accounts.
Oh, okay.
So based on that question, because people like to start in one category and then move to another, if you're going to do two different labels, do you start different corporations for every private label that you're using?
No. If you go down the corporation path, that's good if you're going to have multiple brands, because then you can have different DBAs for each one. And on Amazon, what you can do is you have different brands. That's where branding is real important. This stuff right here, that's completely different than my perfume oils. Different markets. This is Northern Star Products, and this is Whole Life. So you have different brands. Just like you go to a lot of different websites on Amazon. Say a camera dealer. They're selling Konica, they're selling Canon, Nikon, Kodak, all kinds of different cameras. You're just selling different brands of different products. And you can have different brands. You don't, that's a good thing about Amazon. You don't have to, you could sell 100, 1,000 different brands if you wanted. Yeah.
Do you have a parent company for both these products?
We have a corporation, yes.
Okay. So that single corporation has underneath 2 DBAs or something else for those two.
Yeah.
Just an umbrella corporation to cover all the different degrees.
Basically, yes. No, that's fine.
So some of the things I'd like to bring up, because some of the earlier guests that had come in had, and to address where you go. Well, this question about finding how do you get your products listed and get it found in a world of a million different digital footprints throughout the internet. One thing I'd like to have people keep in mind is that every platform that's out there that sells something, like Amazon, like eBay, even the App Store on iTunes, everything has, if it has a lot of product being sold or a lot of inventory being put out there, it most likely has a search engine built on it. And it always is beneficial to figure out a little bit about how that search engine finds products and what people are doing with that search engine. Now, for those of you who don't know, my primary, I guess, specialty is search engine optimization and pay-per-click advertising. Stephen and I run an advertising agency, digital internet advertising agency called Solid Search Marketing, and all we do is we work on helping companies get their websites found or their products found or their things on the internet. And everything that has a search engine can be figured out what algorithm they're using. So if you can figure out what customers are doing and get your listing to be found based on their habits, it's worth the effort to look into it. And if you do searches on the internet, on just Google itself, the major search engine, on how to get my product found on Amazon, I guarantee you're going to find some research that people are already putting out there and knowledge based. And start with that as the fundamentals. Now, you're going to have 9 different SEO, search engine optimization people sitting in a room, and everybody will disagree that everybody's wrong on the other side, and everybody thinks they're right on the way they're doing it. But you can get a consensus. I guarantee you that they will all agree on a couple of things. It's just a little more minute things that each and every single one of them have tested. In the world of SEO, there are maybe 2 or 3 dozen full experts that know or that do hundreds of tests of different websites to figure out algorithms that's going on. And even they will say there are some inconsistencies in some things because algorithms are based on all different factors, and one factor can totally skew their data. But there's something that you should always look into. So for those of us who sell apps on the App Store, keep in mind that the iTunes App Store is a search engine. When people are searching for apps, what are they searching on? Use your phone and think like either if it's a cookbook app, what is the cook searching? What are they going to search to figure out what words you should be putting in? And then do a search on how to get my product found on the App Store. I guarantee you there will be some hints and tips that will give you some revelation. Like I heard there, the App Store is actually ignoring a lot of the description. And that may be true. If they're ignoring the description, don't forget though, there's other search engines people are using that will find your app, so make sure that you are tailoring. Even if your description doesn't have keywords, make sure the keywords are in the right places where they need to be, where you're being found elsewhere. So on Amazon, it's no different. For the woman who asked, how do you get your product found on Amazon? There's a monstrous search engine on that.
They're second to Google.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, they own Alexa. I mean,
Amazon owns Alexa?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Wow. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you're looking to get your products found or anything found on the internet, wherever you're going to put it, even Pinterest has its own search engine on it. Facebook, actually, its search engine is actually built into basic people's profiles. But keep in mind, what other people are kind of figure out how you're going to get your product in front of them based on how people use the system and how that platform is serving up the information there. And you can learn a lot. Now, it's not an easy task. but there's some information that's always available out there. And then we'll definitely cover that in further meetup groups if people have very specific targeting things. If you want to know about Google, we can share a
That's
lot
one of the things I find out. You can't do everything perfect, and it's always good to find an expert like Chris, that guy back there, and that are experts in the field that can get you what you need to. You don't need to know everything, and you need to know what some of the terms are, and not sound like an idiot when you talk to them. And that's what this place is for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you have any questions about a specific niche that you're in and a website that you want, please, if you're willing to have it put up on the screen, we're willing to throw it up there, and some of us can give you some hints and tips on getting it either found or more traffic, but always remember, it's also a big picture. Now, if he just threw up his product on Amazon with just a picture and just the title of supplement, it's not going to sell even though traffic goes there. Make sure that wherever people are ending up, your page is built to sell. That's also a big part of your job. Learn a little bit about marketing in general and what makes people buy, and because that's going to be really important. As I tell people, I have some of the ugliest websites on the web, but I can get them found. But the visual is very important. So find somebody like Steven is one who builds up my website so that it does look good, and find people like that out there. Don't be afraid to do that. Somebody asked a question about how much you spend on your advertising to start with, and that's a question. I guess it depends on your product, but do you spend an additional amount at the launch of your products?
Well, there's a lot of pre-launch stuff that you're doing ahead of time, such as getting your, and it depends on what you're going to do. Getting your press releases done, getting your a number of blogs lined up, whether you're going to pay for it, you're going to write them yourself, get YouTube videos done, all these things, that kind of comes before you launch, because you want to have things in place before you actually launch, so that when you launch, number one, you're getting some traction with Google on backlinks and all that kind of good stuff. So, it's not, I'm launching today and, here's 10%.
Yeah.
And
that's a really good point, because that's not only for Amazon products or physical products. Any products, you should have multiple channels that are going to be pointing to your final website. Like you mentioned, YouTube videos. Very important on almost anything. YouTube is the second largest search engine right behind Google.
Well, Google owns it, that's why.
Yeah. But if people search how-to on YouTube, I think 50% of the searches on YouTube are how-to searches. So if you think about it that way, and if you have something that is a resource for somebody, like how to create an ebook, make sure that you have a YouTube video. You may be one of 50,000 other YouTube videos on how to do that. Nonetheless, you need to have, and then that has to be pointing to your website or even your product. If you're having a supplement, there should be some type of YouTube presence that also is driving to your website.
I think that one of the things, especially for the people that is really new when it comes to marketing, I think that it's important that they keep on coming and listening to you, because one of the things that if you're really new, you don't want to do is listen to Google, what they tell you to listen.
Yeah.
She didn't even listen to you yesterday.
Yeah. I'm not anti-Google. I actually love Google, but I do not ever advise anybody to take Google's advice on either their advertising, especially on their advertising platform. Don't listen to what Google has to say. Find somebody who is actually working on Google that's not part of Google. But also when it comes to search engine optimization, if you're looking for your website, Google will give you, we call it the rubber chicken distraction. They'll tell you what you think you're supposed to know, but they're actually an algorithm that does something different. Because they want to keep the web clean, but they don't want people who understand the algorithm to manipulate it too much to get an unfair advantage. So they give general public information. The only way to really understand how to get your site's ranking is to actually, one, do your own testing. That's always going to be really important to try things, but also to get some advice of people who work in the industry. And there's a lot of websites out there that actually are not Google, websites that will explain a lot more about SEO that's out there. And it's, I mean, the internet's full of free resources. It's really out there. People like us, Stephen and I, what we do is we accelerate. People who don't have time and have a little bit of money to expend on accelerating their stuff, that's what they use us for, because it takes a lot of time. And we've been doing this since 2009, 2010. I mean, it's years in the making of building our websites and our knowledge base on that. And yeah, if I was to start all over again, I had no knowledge, I would have hired somebody like me a long time ago. I would have accelerated my knowledge a lot. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Would you say it's a hit and miss thing? Do you have like a product that you know when you do a product like in the internet marketing, you think of scalability.
Right.
So did you have like one certain product that skyrocketed like, or you have to have like many products that you have to market?
I've done both.
Okay.
Some products, I'll see and damn, this is going to sell.
Right.
This is the new pet rock, something that's really going to sell. No matter what you do, marketing. And then you'll, just happen on something, I told you we sell body jewelry, and we have this belly ring. It's one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. God, gaudy. I mean, it's gothic. I mean, it just sell the shit out of that thing. So, you can use your best judgment, but you got to, do your research. And that's where you end up doing well. And there's a lot of tools out there that you can do research on particular products, on product classes. And that's a whole, that's another 6-hour course. But find out what they are and start using them.
It was funny, they shared, I think it was like either the last one or 2 meetups ago, on how when they go to shows, they have a challenge to pick the ugliest piece of jewelry out there, and amongst them, their family, when they go out there, to find out, because they just never know. So I'm curious, 1 out of 10 businesses succeed. The other 9 out of 10 typically fail. Is that about the same percentage would you say with your product selection? Would you say 1 out of 10 picks it off and the other 90%? I mean, is that kind of the same ratio that happens out there?
Well, I want to use our product mix as an example, because what we would do is we go to, say, a jewelry vendor, and we like the stuff and make secure that they have stuff in the inventory all the time. We'll put up an entire product, maybe 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 products. And what sells, that's what sells, and then you start buying inventory of the stuff that sells.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a fair assessment to say that 10% or 5% or whatever, because
by lines.
In that case, we were doing shotgun. Other products where we're more focused, and we would focus more on the advertising, and the things that you need to do. The SEO to drive traffic, that has a higher percentage. Get better. I'm putting in all that work. Yeah.
But obviously, the experience over the years, actually, you guys have a better idea of what not to buy.
Well, I don't know. We still make mistakes. Yes.
Where do you feel like you spend most of your advertising dollars? Do you use more AdSense? Do you use Facebook, Amazon itself?
Right now, I'd say it's probably about 60-40 Google, and the other 40% on Amazon on the sponsored ads. Yeah. Surprisingly, it can be effective. You have to have the right product, right? Right price, just like anything. Body jewelry example, a lot of it's lower price, under $15. And so we start doing AdWords on that, where the buy-ins, $1 per click, you start eating up your profit on click. Amazon doesn't charge quite that much, but you may get more hits. And so you got to look at that mix. And specifically what the product is. You gotta have the right price point and, you know, the right amount of desire out in the marketplace for it. So there's no simple answer for that.
You have, I noticed you have a lot of systems that you put in place.
Yes.
What part of the systems do you not typically who you have to hire out? Or what do you have staff do that you typically don't like?
I do it all.
You do all that. I mean, you're packaging and you're shipping and everything. So you're hands on everything.
Pretty much.
Oh,
No, she does. Yeah, like I said, it's a family thing. You know, I get two incredible daughters that are just very self motivated and do a lot of stuff. And no dummies.
So how long have they been? How old are they?
One is 31, one's 21.
When did they start doing?
The oldest, she came on with us 7 years ago. 6. 7 years. The little one, we used to go to trade shows, metaphysical shows. We sold a lot of crystals and things over the years. You know, we'd be doing that, and she'd go to shows with us, and so, you know, she started off with this. We'd go off and give talks, and she'd man the store. You know, when she was 5. She sold more than we did, too. We wouldn't laugh at the yet. So, they've been, you know, they have their own accounts on Amazon, they sell, they're entrepreneurs, and they make a living. Yes.
I was wondering what some of your first products you sold was and you're still selling it. And also, how often do you change the label and line? Like actually,
My first product or my first private label?
like one of the first that you ever sold and you're still selling it.
Man. That goes back, you know. Yeah. No. Yeah. We started, you know, about 17 years ago. We sold a lot of semi-precious jewelry. And one of them was hematite necklaces. We found a good source for it in many different styles. We sold thousands and thousands of them. And the marketplace has dried up on that and we don't sell them. So. Rosaries. Rosaries have always been good for us. I mean, we probably sell 30,000 a year. Different kinds, you know, different price levels, different styles. Rosaries are always good. Yes.
Question. I don't know if this is earlier, but what would you say your startup capital was? And then, like,
when we started up, it was next to nothing. I mean, well, we were selling online. You know, this is back in 1999. My background is in software engineering, so I was building websites for other people. And I do this for me. And we were in the metaphysical world, and so we sell crystals. And so we started selling crystals and semi-precious jewelry. And so a lot of the stuff that we sold was stuff that we had around me. And we were doing shows, so there's no real stuff.
The shows and stuff. Like, so you had like some sort of like you take some things and shows, right?
Yeah, we had, you know,
that's where your costs were. But I don't know. This question.
It was, you know, it was pretty much, you know, pretty handled now. You know, we didn't have a, you know, no one dropped thousands of dollars on us and say, you know, or we didn't have it go out and do it. You can do a lot of this stuff, you know, without, you know, hardly any investment. You know, the way that we went up and license. The only limitation was, getting those units online. I did a lot of that by hand. And so, this was back in glory days of the internet. It was a lot easier to do now, but you can still do it. And that was very little investment. So,
Yeah, maybe nowadays it's a little bit different because of the, I mean, if you don't do marketing, if you don't hire somebody that does marketing and you invest a little bit with your marketing program, I mean, your chances are pretty much next to nothing because there are different times. I mean, when we started with Amazon, we used to sell without pictures. I mean, people would buy stuff when they don't have a picture. See, I mean, if they were cheap necklaces.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
I didn't have money.
How come it's so this way? It doesn't. How does it? It doesn't even have a picture.
The picture quality is so terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's before the semi-decent digital cameras. I wasn't going to pick them, and so I used a cheap camera. The color was all off. I tried to get in, and alter it, but it still didn't turn out right. And people bought the hell out of that kind of stuff. You can't get away with that now. Amazon says, no, it has to be an absolute white background, no variation at all. But how much different?
What is your website? Do you have a website? Obviously, you have a website.
Yes.
Where do I go to look through your stuff?
Go look at her website, northernstarproducts.com.
Okay.
Buy some.
I just hear about all the stories of all the sort of things you sell. And, well, that can be interesting just to see it.
No. I don't put everything on one website. Her products are, what do we have on? We just have cosmetics and makeup. No. No.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We changed the.
Took off all your body jewelry. Just cosmetics. So, and that's the plan. Is setting it up. We were talk about selling a lot of rosaries. Well, we sell a lot of body jewelry. Those two don't go together.
Right.
I can make jokes, but she says I'm going to go to hell. So, you got to be smart about how you just can't put everything up on one website. I mean, it's heck, trying to filter through 30, 40,000 different SKUs.
But Amazon is a little different because on Amazon you just have one account. So if you sell shoes and you sell food, you've got to have it on the same account because you cannot have unless Amazon authorizes you.
Right. I was just curious to look through your websites. And
But
see
on Amazon, if you do some other stuff, don't buy.
Okay. One of the things that talked about, or I should have talked about, is do some testing. He talks about testing all the time. We're launching a new product, so I want to use everybody in here as a focus group. Can I do that?
Awesome. Yes.
I'm not selling it.
Yeah.
So, our product is a makeup remover. We're going to put a label on it, and I want to see, women, they get one, and the guys get the other.
Before he starts, really quick, for those of you who might be interested in actually finding out more information about Amazon, how many of you have not heard of Periscope before? Who has not heard of it? Okay, so those of you who have not heard of Periscope, it's an app on a mobile app, and basically anybody all over the world can transmit at any time, and you can follow people, and when they decide to transmit themselves on their phone, if you're following them, it'll tell you that they're actually putting up a video at the time. There's a guy named Ben Cummings. He's on Periscope. You can search for him by downloading the app and then looking on for Ben Cummings. And so far, he does it at least every other morning, if not every morning, about 6, 7 o'clock. And he has fantastic information of how to sell, or especially the mindset and getting yourself in business for it. And it's about 20 minutes a morning. He does all different times. That if you miss it, you can always go. You have, I think, about 24 hours on Periscope to catch it before it goes away. He also puts the replay on his website at bencummings.com. And he offers a course that's called Fast Track, but it's not open anymore. It only opens up certain periods of the year. But in the meantime, what he puts out there is so amazing for you to understand the Amazon business. I think he's stated he does about $500,000 a month on Amazon in sales, and sometimes. I forgot what he stated his exact numbers were at certain times, but if you're interested in following up and getting more information about advanced level in Amazon, and even from mindsets and how to do it, I recommend it.
Yeah, the more that you learn these terminologies and know about it is better. I think you should put up a.
Which one is his?
Monday morning.
Oh, yeah. So Anthony also runs a Monday. It's a webcast, right? That's what do we call it? Webinar.
Yeah, I don't call it webinar, but yeah.
Okay,
I
so
just call it a show.
yeah. So what is it called? Better Marketing Mondays? Is that what it is?
BetterMarketingMondays.com.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I have a new product going out. I have different labels. One for women, one for men. If you can just go through and just put like a hash mark underneath the one that you like. Men?
Oh, Chris, I got that free WordPress class on Saturday at the library.
Oh, yes. So as far as resources go, if you want to learn how to build websites, what is it, first or second Saturday?
It's the second Saturday of the month, so this Saturday.
Yeah, so second Saturday of the month at the New Hall Library, Anthony teaches a free class on WordPress. So if you want to go ahead and learn to put up a website, then that's a great way to go ahead and do that.
Where is it?
It's at the New Hall Library.
1 p.m.
At 1 o'clock. At the SCV Internet Marketers website, there is a link that actually shows the calendar of the library. Hopefully. Yeah, so under the resource tab, New Hall Library events. Sure.
Well, he's looking for that. You know, all these samples are these bottles up here. And most of them are for weight loss. A couple are for muscle growth. Feel free to help yourself because I can't sell them. It was a year and a half. The problem is that my trademark, and I can't sell it. I could put another label, but start looking at cost of doing it.
So while
time
that's
and everything, I kind of pulled this off.
while that's going around for his marketing survey, just so you know, first Tuesday of every month, sign up at meetup.com if you want to make sure you keep up with the updates. If there's, I'll try to usually get out Sunday or Monday before the meetup or what we're going to be talking about the night after. Again, if you have any questions or if you have any subject matters that you want to cover this year, scvinternetmarketers@gmail.com. That'll come to me, and I'd be happy to have any suggestions or take up. And if anybody has special knowledge of special internet marketing things that you want to share, that means that would be great as well.
How about Snapchat? I need to know more about it.
Is anybody a Snapchat user?
I just got it the other night, and I was playing with it for a second, like,
Is there? What can you tell us about it? I guess.
Us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a way to be funny in the moment.
Yeah.
Why you ask?
Because he's asking about.
Well,
What is Snapchat?
Not Ben Cummings, the other guy. He was talking today about Snapchat and how it's a virgin market for marketing. And
To be honest, I went to a Google event. This is, actually put on by Google. And they actually talked about how Snapchat could be one of the new mediums for advertising and gaining attention. And they had asked, is anybody using, in this audience of all Google AdWords experts, is anybody looking or tapping into it? And there was one guy who was getting into it. They didn't talk about what exactly it was, so I am very unfamiliar with Snapchat.
Gary Vee wrote an article about it the other day, 5 reasons to use Snapchat in 2016. That's why I downloaded the app.
Well,
So, like,
what is it? What is it? I don't know. What does it do?
it was that thing that Facebook tried to buy a couple years ago, and they were like, no. But it's like, it's almost like Periscope, except for once you watch it, then it disappears forever.
Oh, so it's a short-term thing.
Yeah.
It's a 24-hour thing, just like Periscope, except just photos only.
Yeah.
And you can either send something to be viewed once by one friend or a couple friends, or you can send something to be put on your story, and any of your friends can view your story for 24 hours as soon as you post it. So, but Snapchat is actually anti-advertising. How they made their money is actually there's a page they finally put up after like a year or two of being on the market that is specifically for if you want to find out what Snapchat has to advertise for you, you can go and you can follow certain companies.
Is that what that page is with the company logo?
Yeah, you see all the company logos. You see, the CBN. You see like ESPN. You can go there and follow them to be on your Snapchat, so they're like your friend basically, and you can see what they're posting. So if you want some just basic news, day-to-day news from ESPN, you can have them as a friend basically. So that's how they're paid. But just to get like a general, but somebody's got to be interested for them to actually receive the advertisement. So right now, there's no way for somebody to just receive random snaps day-to-day as spam. I think Snapchat's kind of against that.
So if I'm a celebrity, and I'm gonna put up a meme like of a secret thing that I might be at somewhere, I could probably get a lot of followers, or like a secret tip that's only gonna be up for 24 hours once it's put up. Could you use it or utilize that to gain a following?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I actually I listen to the radio because I commute to Beverly Hills day to day, and I listen to a radio show, and they actually have their own Snapchat. One of the guys actually has his own Snapchat, and I follow him because he's a funny guy. So it's kind of a way to advertise the show. Keep you interested in his day-to-day tasks, like as a human being, and then to get you to want to listen to a show the next day. So I guess that's kind of a way.
But it's basically a news feed.
It's a news
short
feed.
term. It goes away after a while.
Exactly.
So
Picture
Completely visual or video. 10-second videos.
They say that
With audio?
With audio.
They say that the average user is 13 to 37.
That's a huge range.
And that there's 100 million people using it a day. That's what I heard.
So there's another one that some are using for advertising is Instagram, which is going for that too. But you want to take a lot of people have done taking interest and expanded it into all of your interest, and not so much you just kind of got a little bit of what your product is, so it's all over the place. And the instructions were to keep it focused on your product and things to do with your product, but to keep it in Instagram because it's a much younger audience.
Pinterest is still mind-blowing to me. I don't, for those of you who have been around a while, when Google slapped me really hard on one of my websites so that my site got deranked, my wife, who loves Pinterest, decided to just throw up a whole bunch of the images from my site, put it in categories, and built it up. And that became my #1 traffic source, driving a lot of revenue because of my ad revenue that was coming on there. So that still amazes me on what it can do. And there are people who are talking about how to use it in specific ways. And Pinterest is generally anti-advertising unless you're using their advertisement system. But there's ways to give good content that's sharing with people that also kind of nudges people to buy your product at the same time because it drives traffic. So it's a great source as well.
Yeah, I agree. And with Instagram, you can embed code in there to actually sell. With if you have a Shopify account, you can go in and there's a place where you can create a buy button. You take that buy button, you put it in code on your Instagram, and all of a sudden you can buy right from there.
But it has to be shut down. It has to be shut down.
That's who creates the code, yeah. I'm sure there's other sites or development sites like Shopify that may have the same product. I don't know about them. I just know about Shopify because I have it.
But isn't Instagram, Facebook, and Facebook owns Instagram.
Mhm.
Isn't it just, I've stayed away from Instagram because I don't want to get into the whole, I have to buy to get the people and I gotta buy to keep the people, and I already have that with Facebook, I don't need another.
You're missing out on the teenagers who don't use Facebook anymore because their parents are on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about Snapchat. Our 21-year-old daughter, she doesn't get on Facebook anymore. It's all Snapchat. Yeah. I still don't know a damn thing about
I don't understand. They're only there for 24 hours. I mean, nothing archives.
So your 21-year-old daughter is your Snapchat marketing.
Interesting.
it. Will be. You know,
I mean, then you can put them on the 24-hour sale. I mean,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
that's awesome.
But this is the thing, you know, because it's only for 24 hours. The chances that your parents are going to see you in 24 hours, they are very
Yeah, that drunken picture of you.
Yeah. They're very few, especially if they don't know what the heck that is.
Exactly.
Little secret.
Yeah, you can't take screenshots.
Yeah, they do, yeah. It just doesn't show up.
You can say, I started using Waze.
You can also send me
That has,
Well,
that has ads that pop up on
Waze?
Waze.
The traffic?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Stop.
Oh, yeah.
Stop
Come
and
to a
stop
stop,
sign.
get an ad.
You get it.
As soon as you
That's
start-
brilliant.
Yeah, as soon as you start
I don't
driving,
know
it
how
goes
they do it, but I'm just driving and all of a sudden Carl Jr. ad will pop up on my Waze.
And it's probably right across the street.
And I'm like, why are you showing me ads? I'm supposed to be driving.
It actually kind of blocks the screen too. It's kind of super annoying.
Now, isn't Waze owned by Google now, or no?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Social media.
Technically,
but it doesn't mean it does the act.
It's still operating as separate business.
It also goes to geographic too.
Yeah.
But that's the Google
I don't know.
location-based advertising.
I don't know everything.
Yeah.
It knows where you are and it knows which of their advertisers are there, and they're showing you an ad as a thing across the street.
Yeah, McDonald's is coming up and a Big Mac just shows up on your screen close. I know.
Yeah.
Talk about impulse driving.
Yeah, next will be the subliminal messages that come across to make you go there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, just like one thing. I haven't actually I'm not like a Instagram marketer yet, but just about the topic about Snapchat, Instagram, and Vine and stuff.
No, you're coming down the dark side already.
What I've gathered, because I'm a YouTuber, so I have a social presence just because I'm a maker. But what I've gathered about Vine and Snapchat stuff, those are really personal, right? So from what I've gathered, you wouldn't want it to particularly build a brand for a product on it. It's more like a personal brand. Like you build yourself as a person, you get a following, and people will have a connection to you. So then you can, mention something that you do or help promote something you do. So by that token,
Yes,
you
that's
can
it.
get people that have those followings, and there actually are people that are already on Snapchat and Vine and Instagram that have those followings that you can pay them to mention your product, especially if it goes with their brand already as a person.
Like Twitter.
It's more like personal. Yeah.
But
Really?
on Snapchat, I'm on Snapchat most of the time, but Snapchat seems to be all about fun stuff, memes, and I follow things like the Los Angeles Museum. What is it, LACMA, Los Angeles Museum of Art? They have a really fun Snapchat account. They make memes out of all the artwork in their museum. And I think that's great marketing.
That's cool. Yeah, that is market. It's subliminal marketing, really. I mean,
Yeah,
sharing everything that's there.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I think that's the main thing.
Well, for Snapchat, what people are following is celebrities, mainly on Snapchat. It's people you're following, people, not businesses.
Yeah.
So I have two friends that have businesses selling apparel, entirely separate businesses. Now, one is very successful, has bought $1 million home from it, and it's because one celebrity, Kristen Stewart, obviously the girl that did the Twilight series, she started wearing his hats for no reason. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So his business blew up because of Snapchat, Instagram, and her Instagram, and her Snapchat entirely. So
wow,
it just depends, You got to see what they're wearing, and if you can build a product geared towards what celebrities want.
Yeah, I mean the 13 to 30-year-old. It seems like a big age group, but
Wonder if you can drive.
Probably way smaller, like celebrities. People that have 10,000 followers or something. Ridiculous. I know that's on Instagram. That you can do.
Yeah.
I've had friends that have a lot of success with that.
I'm in the safes, and one of the companies that I deal with, Fort Knox, a very high-end safe. I'm stunned that they'll give a celebrity a safe for $3,000 or $4,000, And these celebrities will take pictures with them and pictures with the safes. I don't think you can pay the guy to do that.
Nope. Yeah.
But I can't believe and they're on the back of the catalogs. You used to have 30 or 40 different celebrities. They'll go to the SHOT Show in Vegas and stand in the booth with them. I don't understand. And all they're doing is swapping safes.
It's called ego.
There's cash.
No,
Absolutely.
no.
I
I
represent
deal with the
celebrities.
company. I talk to the guys.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's why YouTubers are so popular too. I mean, when they get their following, yeah, and you send them a product and they're willing to just mention it so they got it free, I mean, that can really take off your product too. That's pretty awesome.
You get the right one.
Yeah, get the right one. Right. Well, thank you guys all very much. I mean, we're still around. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to come up and ask. And if you did have any questions, like I said, when you bring them, please make sure that you ask them, and so we can get them. Do you have the last question?
No, I was just gonna, everything was so great to make it so big. I think really small. So on private label, I heard a podcast with a lady that makes soap. And she actually offered that for soaps that she made and got several accounts and even one over in the UK where these shops, rather than, she said it's easier to sell the private label because she's selling out 30 bars of soap to one shop rather than one bar of soap 30 times. And she just got huge orders. And then even after Christmas sales are over, the shops are calling her back saying, we're out of inventory, send us more. So she just has like a second rush even after the holidays. So you can take it smaller.
Oh, yeah.
Not just bigger like that.
It's so easy because just go to a craft shop on the weekend and say, I need 30 bars.
Yeah.
And, you can you have a color printer, you can make up just a cheap label that fits around it, and that's your brand.
Yes. There's some goodies, I guess, in the back of the Starbucks. If anybody wants any.
They're doing some kind of marketing.
Yeah.
Another focus group I thought I had.
Yeah, Kirk, thank you very much for sharing today. When's next month? Okay. First Tuesday of the month, so that would be. You know what?
I love
Still